Another popular children's program has decided to go all in on left-wing indoctrination. And this time, as the Twitter account End Wokeness reports, it is the show CoComelon Lane, which is apparently a spin-off from the extremely popular CoComelon show. And the clip circulating social media today is from episode 8 of the show's recently released first season. In the clip, we see a young boy, a character named Nico, dancing around in a dress and a tiara while his two gay dads look on approvingly.
Thing that we know about you, you love to get up and dance.
How about you break out those moves
For your two biggest fans.
Now, before we get to the biggest and most obvious problem here, I should say that CoComelon is one of the many shows that you should ban from your household. You should have already banned it simply because it's annoying and obnoxious. And most parents will agree with my assessment of CoComelon. But then they'll say that they let their kids watch him anyway because they say that their kids love the show. My kid wants to do it is never a sufficient reason for allowing them to do anything. And second, they don't actually love the show, okay? They don't love these shows. They are sedated by them. They are hypnotized, stupefied. If you've ever seen a child like watching a show like this, or walked into a room when a kid's watching a show like this, you'll notice that the child isn't laughing or smiling or really reacting at all. They just sit there glassy-eyed, distracted by it. For whatever reason, stuff like this is compulsively watchable to a 3-year-old, but they don't love it, and they certainly aren't gaining anything from it. It's just that companies like Netflix specialize in churning out content that is compulsively watchable, stuff that will keep you sitting there slack-jawed and tranquilized. And that brings us to the most significant problem here, which is the message that the content is delivering. Whatever the message is, the child watching the show will be perfectly susceptible to it. Like Netflix has your child where they want him, sitting there, eyes glued to the screen, passively absorbing whatever images and sounds and ideas emerge from it. And if your kid happened to be watching episode 8 of CoComelon Lane, then he would passively absorb the idea that it's normal for boys to dress like girls and that there's nothing strange about a child having two dads. It's not an accident, by the way, that this scene happens in episode 8. Because Netflix, they're strategic about this sort of thing. Like any groomer, it wants to lure parents into a false sense of security. Parents will see the first couple episodes, everything looks pretty normal and harmless, not knowing that the gay dads and the cross-dressing kid is buried midway through the 8th episode. It's all very deliberate and very evil. And sadly, very effective. The left obviously has other much more blatant ways of encouraging cross-dressing and gender bending and instilling confusion in people's minds, but none of those other efforts will be as effective as even this one little 2-minute scene in CoComelon. Because this is where they really mold the next generation into whatever twisted shape they want them to be. It's with a show like this, targeting children in this age range, planting seeds in very young minds that are not capable of any sort of skepticism or critical analysis.